Designing a product in itself is a challenge. There are many steps that we take at Hatch-22 to ensure a successful product launch. But with the global pandemic that has clouded 2020, we have seen shifts in the way we interact with our clients.
And even our own team. With design and product development being such a hands-on process, how do we maintain social distancing protocols and essentially do the job without being completely hands-on? We want to show you how our small yet mighty team of designers and engineers get it done.
Join us for an inside look at our design process and see how we overcame the struggles of designing during a global pandemic. This is Hatch-22.
Previously on Hatch-22, Rubbish came to Hatch-22 to execute strategic design improvements on their current pilot system, the Rubbish Beam.
I don't know if you guys have seen the Rubbish Beam. This is an older version, but I thought I would show it off to all of you. Felipe, while you were talking, I thought I would show off the fruits of your labor.
Hi everyone, I'm Leslie, and I'm going to be your host for episode 2. On this episode, we're going to give you an insight to our ergonomic audit process. Enjoy.
We just finished our meeting with Rubbish. We went over their Hatch-22 worksheets that we give to our clients to help define the brand, or at least help our team understand an existing brand, so that we know what we're working with, who we're designing for in terms of the brand. And then these worksheets also kind of help us understand who they see their user personas being. Basically, we went over the worksheets. They used some very interesting words. They use heroic a lot to describe their users and the feeling that they want people to have using the Rubbish Beam.
Brand. Obviously, again, you already have a brand. We're not trying to rebrand. We're just trying to, add some visuals to it that our team can reference. So, since you do have a very well-established brand, I'd be interested to know what your reaction is to some of these visuals that we have.
We just did our first peek at the Hatch-22 designs and visual thoughts. We've been working on this for a while, so it's very special when someone takes our words and our work and also our dreams, like what we want in the future, and creates something out of that. So it definitely hit me a little bit. I'm very excited to see the next round of revisions. I thought everything looked amazing, especially the theme of uplifting others, inspiring others, and being a hero in your own way.
So today we're all joined here to handle phase 1B, which is the UX UI portion of the project. And it's really just to understand the architecture and nature of where the interaction points may be for the device. So having the team go through and survey the original beam and understand where the trigger and ergonomics of that may be and how buttons and interaction points need to be mapped. It is actually a lot like a combination of things that we've worked on in the past, particularly toys. But what makes this different is that there is a digital, almost like kind of augmented reality component to it. The gamified nature of taking pictures of trash that we have to consider as part of the experience, alongside with this like physical long, almost like tool, which also happens to be, from our kind of ethos of what we think it should be, is kind of like a toy approach. So I think juggling how you make this a toy, and digital experience like completely fun and gamified, that we have to think of all of that simultaneously.
One of the most important aspects of product development is immersing ourselves in the actual user experience of the product. And so what we try to do is encourage our designers who are working on the project to use it and to go out and experience what it's like to do a cleanup. And that's what our designers did. They attended one of their cleanup events to get the full experience, because we can't design a product without understanding and optimizing the user experience. So first identifying the problems, and then coming up with ideal solutions.
Exactly. Okay. Still stretching the your wrist.
Okay, look, I believe I have an image here of you picking up.
Because like nobody's gonna try to
See that? So what we can do is here,
angle that.
angle that even more.
Yeah. So
Make a call out. Okay.
Hi, I'm Peter. I'm an industrial designer for Hatch-22. First aspect that it catches my attention is that it's actually, at least the first version, it's based off of a lot of the existing parts. So this entire beam itself is off-the-shelf product, and then there are 3D printed parts attached to it. And even this phone holder, it's half off-the-shelf part and half 3D printed attached together. So I think we can design it in a way that all these forms are more unified and more aesthetically intentional.
So in terms of aesthetics, I think we're going for playful empowerment. I think Rubbish is a very fun brand, and they're taking this concept of gamifying picking up trash and litter. So we really wanted to emphasize the playfulness in the aesthetics. So thinking of friendly forms, thinking of also how do we make this almost like a hero tool, not necessarily like a weapon per se, but just like Thor's hammer, and thinking of that like as a symbolism of this, just making that person who's picking up litter completely empowered to make an impact on the world. So I think a lot of the aesthetics that we're focusing on visually should convey friendliness, playfulness, brightness, almost like being a big kid.
What I like about that is it makes me think of people that you already don't have a lot of feedback from the device itself. You have a lot of feedback on the app.
Right.
So if you add anything that is just a swipe, I think that it would be a little bit harder to learn how to do that gesture-wise.
Yeah.
So this would make it a lot more
And
intuitive.
like this actually like gamifies it a lot too.
Yeah.
Like it kind of directly associates with the games that people are already used to playing. So I think that could help. Like in terms of position.
The main pain point will have to be the ergonomics. It's something that I'd initially anticipated, just because it's so heavy on user interaction and their hands and arm movement, that I knew that it was going to be a major point of development for our team. But it's also exciting because, specifically because of the company that we're working for, we have the ability to make it fun and gamify it, so that will make it, that will put pressure off and allow us to focus on really empathizing with our user and what will be the most comfortable thing for our user to maneuver, really. I imagine people walking around with this for extended periods of time, so you want it to be not only fun but also comfortable, that it's almost like an extension of their arm rather than a tool that they're using, so it becomes their arm, so we're going to have to aim to do. So that takes a lot of time and that takes a lot of work because not everyone is the same. The distance itself, it's okay, it's just awkward because it's not comfortable to hold onto with the trigger, and then so you have to change your grip onto the handle.
Exactly. So you have to hold onto it like that, and then as you pick up, you kind of have to switch your grip and then pick up.
And my hands are not big enough to hold the trigger with all of my fingers. I had to only use like my tallest finger.
Yeah.
So if I hold onto it, I can't actually do that. It just doesn't feel comfortable, and it's really heavy for me. So for me, what I had to do is I had to like adjust and then do this and then adjust and do that.
Okay.
I couldn't do it one-handed because it's just too heavy for me to do one-handed.
Because if you hold it down at this angle, which is primarily the percentage of time you're going to be picking stuff up, the electronic weight is on top bias, whereas it's bottom bias. So it's gonna like bottom bias is gonna push you more like this. Whereas this, if you kind of shift it, it's pretty heavy and it's a lot heavier than that.
Yeah.
But if you kind of shift it back a little bit, you can see how like that may affect your.
And it's actually, I've used these. It's actually doesn't feel as heavy for me to use this
That's a lot heavier.
than to use that, and this is a lot heavier. I can even carry it like this, and I couldn't do that for this. I think the thing that's going to change the most is this whole area, which is the user interaction area, the part that interacts with the user the most. Just making sure that it's comfortable, that it distributes the weight properly, that it gives the user enough feedback. Is it on? Is it charged? Do I need to charge it? Is it paired with my phone? The colors, I think we definitely need to make this more friendly. I understand the color choices for, utilitarian manners to make sure that it's practical and it doesn't, it's not like a fuchsia thing that you're just carrying around. It can be gender neutral. But I do believe that there's a different way of applying these colors so that this looks a little bit friendlier. And it hides things that we don't want to see, like dirt, or it highlights things that we do want to see, like any buttons or interaction items. So really, this, to me, the goal is to make it so that it becomes an extension of your arm, so you don't have to think about this. It's all the focus on the app, the experience, the community, and really what you are doing, the whole experience outside of the physical element.
So this is phase 1D. This is where we're getting into kind of the nitty-gritty strategy of the function of the device, right? So what we did, actually I'll just jump down. What we did is an ergonomic audit, so how the device feels when you're using it in your hand. A discovery of task analysis, which is going through each step in the process of using the device and the app as well. Less so the app, more the device. And just kind of analyzing where there's any friction for the user, where there might be able to, where there might be some opportunities to remove that friction, basically, smooth it out, make the experience a little more enjoyable. And then finally, the optimal UX configurations. These are physical, focusing entirely on the physical interaction, not the app. But ideally, how with its being configured to make it very nice to use.
I enjoyed the fact that this deck is 35 pages, half of which are problems that Hatch-22 identified. So it's good. It seems like they used it and they caught on pretty quickly.
So jumping down, ergonomic audit. The objective here, like I just mentioned, is to highlight opportunities just to improve general ergonomics. Remove any stress points, balance out weight so it doesn't cause strain or tension, that kind of thing. So first and foremost, elephant in the room is that this thing has a lot of weight right in front of the hands, right? So it's going to pull down on the wrist. I'm sure this is something you're all aware of already. So that goes without saying, right? So to solve that, what we would ideally like to do is find a way to move some of that weight either closer to the hands, as you see here, or even distribute some of that weight behind the wrist so that the weight of the long arm can kind of balance out with those electronics or other components that might be able to neutralize and basically bring that center of gravity more to your hand, so it's not pulling on the wrist so much. So we're going to treat what we come up with today as like a hard point, basically, so that we can try to design around the structure that we come up with right now, so that when it gets to engineering, they're not like, guys, why did you make the handle like this? You can't do anything with this, right? So where for existing products we might do a teardown and build around that. Like here we're kind of proposing some alternative constructions. So we're going to try to figure out mechanical engineering wise, how are we going to do that so that we can design around it and it can all be good and possible.
So for this meeting, I wanted to sync up between the three of us on the configurations, right? Specifically the two new configurations, and just kind of nail down what we want to explore in phase 2. So both of you have tried the new handles, right? The new litter pickers.
Yeah.
Generation. I think whenever you're ready, you can start on sketching some ideas and just start flowing on the channel as you come up with stuff. So what I want to do next actually is I'm going to take just like a screenshot of this spreadsheet and send that to the Rubbish team just so they're aware of what we've been working on since it's been a little bit.
Yep.
And then I think we can start on phase 2 exploration in earnest, like today, if you're ready, Peter.
Well, I think the importance for our designers here at Hatch-22 to really touch and feel the products or prototypes that we're designing for and experiencing it for themselves. It's really important because what we put out into the world is physical. It's not pixels, it's atoms, right? And so in order to target that properly, you really have to feel it and understand it one-to-one, because it's kind of like a chef cooking for someone and they haven't tasted their own food, right? So I think we kind of take that same analogy here, where we really want our designers to really experience who they're designing for and figure out the pain points for themselves as well, so they can bring those insights into the design process.
As you can see, at Hatch-22, we find a way to get things done. Make sure you like, share, and comment, and set your notifications on so you can get an alert when the next episode drops.